Come with us if you want to live, everyone. It's Deep Dive Zone, a Sonic review series for fans of all shapes and sizes. I'm your host, Devin, joined as always by my co-hosts, Lauren and Bruce, and today we are doing more Fleetway Sonic the comic. Starting off with an interesting thing. You know, one of the things that we've had here is, we've had these collected volumes, but they also make sure to include specials and spin-offs. And one of the spin-offs that you would get was called Sonic the Poster Magazine, which was literally a magazine that you buy because you get a big poster in it.
Right.
And, for the first two issues, it was basically that. You would have some Sonic publicity stuff. I believe the first one actually had some in-development stuff about Sat AM before it came out.
Oh, interesting.
But starting with the third one, they started putting original stories in them, like Sonic the Comic. And because they're only 6 to 7 pages in the main comic anyway, they are here. Which means that we get this one, The Kid Cruel Caper, Kitching and Hadley. Sonic fights to protect the town of Forest Hills, which is under threat from a vicious crime lord, and oh boy.
Oh boy.
I guess maybe I was too harsh on downtown Ebony Hare from the Knuckles drug arc. Because we got the black stereotype there, except this time it's on a guy who is literally an ape, complete with the curly hair and the puffy red lips.
Yeah.
Let's just get through this as quickly as we can. Let's not linger on it.
I mean, to be fair, there's not a whole lot to linger on in this story.
Yes, it is a town, and there is a bad man, and Sonic has to beat him.
I mean, there are a few details here worth
There's a
touching
few.
on. Forest Hills, for instance, that's not an actual zone. That's like something they made up, but it sounds kind of like a zone name. So
I'm
that's
surprised there's
interesting.
not a Sonic level name that. There's Leaf Forest and Green Forest, and there's plenty of whatever hills.
And then on this first page, you have this very cursed design for coconuts.
Yes, they are
Yeah.
not so much coconuts badniks as metal bodies with monkey heads, and we keep that tentacle body horror thing from the other time.
Yeah, that is an interesting design.
Yeah. So yeah, this guy's bad. I assume he works for Robotnik. Do they say that he works for Robotnik?
Seems pretty apparent. More and more in these
Yeah,
comics, we're gonna get people who kind of just seem to work for them.
Yeah, he calls Robotnik. It
He
seems
says
like,
Robotnik has a reward on you, so I guess he's kind of like a mercenary.
I guess
Yeah.
he's just a bad guy who's like, oh, Robotnik's our reward for you. Well, I'm going to turn you in.
Yeah, but yeah, Sonic and friends are here to help. Tails is wearing a leather jacket for all of one page.
Yeah, he is, and then it just disappears.
Or maybe it's like denim, it's blue, whereas Lewis's is...
It kind of
It
looks like a leather
looks the
vest.
same as Lewis's, but Lewis's has lighting that makes it clearly leather on the other pages.
Yeah. Well, Tails just isn't wearing it past that one frame.
Yeah, but Sonic and friends arrive actually after Kid Cruel and his badniks take away some people, and so they go out into the forest to fight them.
That makes more sense than trying to fight them in the city anyway.
Well, yeah, but I mean, they were already gone by that
Yeah,
point.
I know.
But,
Yeah.
Tails gets hit right in the dick by a coconut.
Okay. I wasn't sure if that was like right in the dick or supposed to be like.
It looks like a groin hit. I'm
I
glad
think
that
it's
we don't
based
think
off
about
his
that,
face. Also, I think it is.
Yeah, but as usual, these stories are very short, so
It's
like
kind of over before it begins.
they get trapped in like a load of bombs strapped to badniks, so they're surrounded, and he's like, oh, I'm gonna call Robotnik because you guys are just gonna blow up if you try to do anything.
I'd like to point out that this is, I think, the first time, at least in the Sonic comic, that they're intentionally holding the badniks hostage because they contain animals.
Oh
Yeah, that's a good point. But all of this is, as usual, completely trivial for Sonic, who just runs and grabs all of the bombs.
Yep.
It's actually crazy because he runs them away to have them explode, and you can see that it's blown up him partially on this panel because his hair has been singed off.
Yeah, and then the next panel, his hair, or a couple panels after that, his quills are fine.
Maybe
Come
a
on.
side
Yeah,
effect
it's
of the
bizarre.
accident was super regeneration.
Stick to it. Show him with fucked up hair.
I kind of just thought he was like on fire. It's a little
Yeah, I
hard
mean-
to tell.
Well, so I think that's what it's actually supposed to be, but it looks like his quills are like half burned.
Well, I mean, if
the
you're
one
on
frame.
fire and it's on your hair, that should still destroy your hair.
Well, yeah.
I just
Yeah.
mean you don't have to draw him in any bizarre way. Just draw him on fire.
I mean, yeah, you could just maintain him being on fire. That also.
Yeah, but he ties up Kid Cruel. Robotnik arrives, and then Sonic's just like, "Too bad, we're running out of here," and it's the end.
Yeah.
It's I don't. It's a weird last panel because it's like you'd think that Robotnik arriving would be the climax of the story, not the very end. But
True. Yeah.
I guess Sonic is fast, so he can get them out of there fast.
That's the name of the story basically. Sonic is too fast.
Yeah. Well, that was something. Let's move on. Our second story today is Girl Trouble. Kitching and Elson. Sonic's self-proclaimed girlfriend, Amy Rose, is captured by Robotnik, and Sonic and Johnny Lightfoot dive into the Special Zone to rescue her. Meanwhile, Robotnik considers a change of appearance.
Oh.
I am so glad to have Amy in these comics. Love this design.
Yeah, I like this design.
Yes, she has a different haircut, where she sort of has this, like, reverse buzzsaw thing going to contrast Sonic's.
It makes her a lot more distinct than just being, like, a pink Sonic.
Yeah. Especially since... I don't know if we get Modern Amy in these comics, I don't know.
Yeah, well, because... Yeah,
well, we get to Sonic Adventure, so we might see her, I don't know.
Yeah, well, I guess we'll see.
Yeah, and my thoughts on the title aside... Archie, for the first few years, kind of fumbled Amy. It just didn't use her for a lot, so...
They didn't... I think they just weren't sure how to use her.
They already had multiple female leads, and like by the time they got their idea for, a girl who's kind of underexperienced but wants to be close to Sonic, for some reason they just gave all that to Mina instead.
Yeah, that is weird.
But everybody likes Fleetway Amy, so I'm excited.
I mean, yeah, we don't have any female leads yet, so...
Yeah, and currently, she's being raided and kidnapped by Badniks for associating with Sonic, which is hilarious already, because she hasn't associated with him. She's just been walking around calling herself Sonic's girlfriend.
That is perfect.
That is perfect.
That is what I expect out of at least some versions of Amy.
Yeah.
I'm fine with Amy being, like, obsessed as long as it's not, like, to a psychotic degree.
Sure, I mean,
yeah,
that's
you want
the problem
her to be eccentric, just not harmful.
Exactly, that's the problem. That's the exact problem we've had so far, so seeing her just kind of being weird
it's fine for now, yeah.
Yeah.
But Johnny and Bob Beaky, that is to say Sonic...
Yeah. No, it's Beaky.
Yeah. They bust in to save the day. Johnny finally having his red jacket and a weapon and pants.
I do appreciate that he's, like, actually dressed now, because a little too Bugs Bunny.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like giving the small animals more distinct designs to the comic.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and Johnny's gonna be, like, the number 2 in every fight from here on out, so it makes sense to make him look a little more distinct.
Yeah.
But they got Weapon X that they're gonna launch.
Ooh.
I like that they poke fun at themselves. For
how corny the name is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and fair enough, it's just kind of a big volley of spikes. I guess the strength is not that it can hit Sonic, but that it can hit civilians around him, which means that he has to juggle them.
It seems more like it's just like, oh yeah, we can distract Sonic really easily.
Yeah, he has to save this bear kid with a disturbingly large head. But that buys the goons enough time to escape to the Special Zone.
I should have expected this, but of course this very rude Sonic is going to be very sort of against Amy's antics.
Oh yeah.
When he's like, Amy got herself into this, but she's going to expect to get her out now too. Women.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, for a dickhead version of Sonic, whatever. At least, you know what? Go all in on it. Make it Sonic Horseman. I don't know. No, that's a bad idea. But anyway, Robotnik. Cut to Robotnik. He is busy firing his image consultants, which is a hilarious thing for him to have at all.
Yeah, I questioned it last time, but between these two and then another guy in a minute here, it does seem like Robotnik does employ a number of non-robots.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think the thing is, image consultants make sense for a lot of versions of Robotnik, and that's just because many versions of Robotnik are very vain. I haven't really gotten that vibe from Fleetway Robotnik.
No, he just seems like a evil genius currently.
Yeah,
He's got his face plastered over like the whole Emerald Hill when he takes over it.
Okay, yeah, but like,
that's fair.
you
But that
know,
was as much a
that's
1984 thing as anything else.
yeah, that's just a dictatorial thing.
Either way, he has decided, for reasons I'm not quite sure of, that his body has run its course and he needs a new one.
So
Wow.
he
So
encases himself in a fucking egg.
not that bit, but
One
yeah,
thing at a
not
time.
wanting um
The body's run its course,
yeah, the
so
body's run its course. We've got that, and then before we had the orbital laser and that one black silhouette. This guy is just like Robo Robotnik, isn't he?
Kinda, yeah.
kind of, yeah.
It's kind of crazy how many things happen in just these few panels, because we have Robotnik's image consultants, him firing his image consultants, him deciding he needs a new body, us learning that he has a robot secretary and every stereotype you can imagine with it,
Of
and
course.
us getting introduced to Dr. Grimer here, a lesser scientist under Robotnik, and completely hideous.
Yeah, I'm assuming he's basically our Snively.
He is. I don't know exactly how much he's going to be like Snively, exactly.
Sure, yeah.
He certainly dresses differently. He has kind of a... I guess it's still a lab coat, but it's more of a suit
Yeah.
going on.
He just has it, like, a button together.
I don't know if this guy... It's weird, because the image consultants are clearly human. This guy
Yeah.
is like a goblin man.
Yeah, he's a creature.
He's got tubes coming out of his neck.
You know, it's interesting. With the suit, I wonder, I mean, Eggman looks weird, but he seems to
Sure.
care a little about his image. This guy looks hideous to us, but I wonder with the suit if he's actually like very handsome for his species.
I don't know. I don't know if he is different species.
I mean,
Is
he
that
could
green
be
on the
immune,
floor
who
like
knows?
slime leaking out of him, or is that just a shadow?
That's just a shadow, I'm pretty sure.
I guess it kind of looks the same as the reflection of the desk, so yeah, probably.
Yeah.
And yes, Robotnik has transformed into an egg.
Yes, amazing.
Apparently a stinky egg based off of those smell lines.
Well, he's just reverted back to that rotten egg that originally
yes.
brought him into this world.
He's reverted back to his natural form.
Yeah, and it's funny because I don't think they ever call him Eggman in this comic.
He's so associated with eggs.
Yeah. Anywho, Sonic touches down at the old Kintober labs, and the Kintober computer interface is now a full-blown AI that talks and stuff, which we saw in the introduction, but we haven't really
Yeah.
been formally introduced to until now.
Right. I mean, yeah, it was, we knew that was going to happen.
But he is... well, actually, Kintober AI is going to be one of the more recurring... He's our mission control for this series, basically.
Right.
He says that he has been spying on Eggman's radio feed and gives Sonic Amy's location, basically. Which is good, and, well, we have a star post down here, and I'm thinking, a secret underground lab, Sonic's friends working with an AI to build a star post to use when they need Special Zone access. Did Ian Flynn lift this? Because that's a thing that recurs a lot during his era of the comics.
Interesting. I mean, you
It
have
might be
stated that...
coincidence. And I'm sure Flynn must have read this comic, right?
Yeah, or at
he's
least
trying to
would
be the lore
familiar
master.
with it. Yeah, I would assume he was, at least at the time, he was familiar with the comic.
Yeah. It might be coincidence, though. Anyway.
Still interesting to think about.
Special Zone. We're blasting into the Special Zone. And the Egg Fortress is just kind of sitting on top of everything in there. It's weird that we need, like, a location for this, because it seems easy to spot. I guess I don't know how vast the Special Zone is, though, so...
That's a good question.
I mean, if you think that every single special stage in the different games are actually in the same special zone, then it could be quite big indeed.
Yeah, that's fair. Hope we don't have to go through the spinning vomit maze.
Oh god, yeah.
But, yeah, we bust into the Egg Fortress, and Grimer's here to trap you in bubbles.
Works.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's because we need enough time for Eggman to hatch. Robotnik's egg cracks and shatters, and out from it bursts Adventures of Sonic Robotnik.
Oh boy.
Oh my gosh. I did not expect I mean, okay, when he's like, I need a new body, I'm like, okay, that's what's happening. But
Yeah.
I didn't think that he would just switch into this form like that, especially not like in the story. I mean, okay, I guess we're working with some real professionals here. Got to work in all the design changes and the plot. I do appreciate that, but still, it's kind of weird. But at least it could be very very weird, and this is just kind of a little weird.
It
I mean, I'm not opposed to very, very weird.
it's telling of the difference in writing style between Archie and Fleetway that Archie had this whole convoluted thing and basically switched to the new design as a coincidence because they killed off the old one and it was even a different guy.
Right.
Fleetway just did this seemingly for fun, as far as I know.
I mean, I'll
There
take
wasn't
for
any.
fun.
There was no reason that they had to switch to this design.
I mean,
I don't
they were
know
already using effectively a game design before this.
because I don't
So,
know what because it's like back in the '90s we had a lot of weird differences between Sega of America and Sega of Japan. And
right.
Sega of America asked for certain things from the comics and cartoons that Sega of Japan didn't want. I have no idea how Sega of Europe operated during this time. To what extent it was even a thing. It's barely a thing now. So
Yeah, that's
I have no idea. This is the wonderment of friggin' Fleetways that we're always going into uncharted territory.
Yeah,
Awesome.
that's I like that.
Yeah. So
Well, in the plot, it is a little weird. It seems like the reason that egg into Robotnik, but I took over words there. The reason that the dude became a different dude was because this form is more evil and powerful. Apparently,
It's more rotten.
yeah. I wonder if that means he can't go back to being Kintober.
um, hmm.
I don't know. Anyway, Grimer has Sonic and Johnny contained in a bubble and Amy in a cage. And there's this bit where Sonic's like, I don't even like Amy, man. And Grimer's like, oh, so you're saying there's no point to me holding her hostage? He's genre savvy.
Yeah.
Sonic is so aggressively anti-Amy. That's not even what he's trying to do, though.
No, I mean he's mostly just trying to dispel the allegation that she's his girlfriend. Which yeah, no, I like that whole dialogue bit. I don't know if I need Sonic to keep ripping on her after that, which he kinda does.
Yeah, I feel like at this point we're getting to see more of asshole Sonic.
Well she just
It
I don't
seems like
agree
he's
with
more just like an asshole to certain people.
I don't agree with Amy going around calling herself Sonic's girlfriend, but it's like Sonic should not be
Yeah.
that upset about it.
Not really.
Or at least if he is that way towards Amy, that shouldn't be our introduction to her.
Fair, yeah.
But Robotnik enters, and we're beginning the process of Badnik conversion for Amy. They already have a metal Amy head ready to go. Kind of has Shadow's quills if you look at it.
Kind of, yeah.
It is fascinating how this comic handles badniks because it's this weird in between of the games and just robotization from Archie.
Yeah, it's almost like it's a mech suit a lot of the time.
Mm.
And for some reason, he also says that this Badnik thing is permanent, which I don't know why, especially since permanent Badnik transformation is a plot point of a completely different character that is treated as totally unique for it. So,
It could always just be like a bluff, or
maybe.
he's just overstating.
Yeah, because I think if this is the same as like the Sonic and Tails Badnik suits from the first episode.
Right.
But it's alright, we're gonna make sure that doesn't happen. Sonic and Johnny pushing their hamster ball out of its holster, basically. And they kind of bowl through the robots like a bowling ball. And one dude is like, I'll stop them, and then he just shoots it and it breaks.
And Grimer's like, please don't do that. That'll be important later.
Yeah. Well, it's really weird because he breaks it and then all of the villains just like disappear for a second. Like once it's broken, like Johnny gets up, Sonic gets up, they're like, oh, we gotta free Amy, and then we do. It's like, what is everybody else doing during this page?
Well, so they do kind of explain what they're doing on the page
Yeah.
after this.
Well, so I understand that we cut to that shot of Grimer beating the crap out of the robot for shooting, but it's like, were he and Robotnik just standing there? I don't know.
Well, Grimer was, as you just said, beating up a bunch of badniks, and Robotnik was just standing there saying, "Hey, stop them! Somebody stop them!" Over and over.
I know that. Well, that's my point. It's not that they literally disappear. It's just that like neither of you had the sense to just run and grab them. I don't know.
That's a fair point.
Well, Robotnik here is in a new body, so he's a little not maybe on his game, and he's
Yeah.
like, I'll just leave it to everyone else, and he's not used. I mean, literally, I love this moment because he's like, stop them, somebody, and he's like bewildered, which is not like a look we've seen in this comic so far, because he's like, why is nothing happening? Something should happen.
Yeah.
And Grimer is being Grimer. I don't know. This is like a little bit of character here. Does he get a little carried away and distracted? I'll have to pay attention to that.
Maybe that's what it is that seizing upon a chance to exert the violence on robots that Robotnik exerts on him, it's a little bit of a petty, like, exercise of power thing. And, fair enough, I guess we haven't really seen Robotnik as a physical fighter at all in this comic, so
That's true.
maybe there's nothing he can do to Sonic, but then I'd wonder why Sonic doesn't kick the crap out of him, but who knows.
Hard to say. I could see this version of Sonic maybe doing that.
Yeah. But yeah, so they fail. The heroes get away, and Amy is. Well, it's weird because he's like, Amy's gonna have to join us, Sonic. Now that Robotnik thinks she's your girlfriend, she's not safe in the village. But it's like, I guess we're the freedom fighters in this. It doesn't really feel like it the same way it does in other continuities.
I have a note later sometime in these comics we have tonight that they do call them freedom fighters.
Okay, it was. I don't think they
Yeah.
called themselves freedom fighters up to this point, though.
Not
No,
yet.
not yet, but that's pretty clearly what they are.
Yeah,
I mean, the world's been taken over, so.
It feels like they're leading up to using the name Freedom Fighters.
I guess part of it is that it was really just Sonic and Tails, and Lewis and Johnny have just kind of materialized into the group. They didn't get, an introductory story where, like, this is who I am.
Right.
Sally and Tufty aren't getting that treatment. So, anywho, that's our introduction to Amy in these comics. They are, she's here, and Sonic is very concerned with making sure everybody knows she's not his girlfriend.
That was very insightful, that remark about Grimer, because you can clearly see that he's been beaten up. He's got bandages and a sling for his arm. I do wonder if Robotnik did just beat him up with his bare hands.
Yeah, but anyway, who gives a shit about Amy? If Robotnik has fucking Metal Sonic in a tube, show me that right now.
Goddamn right.
Yes.
Operation METALLIX. I hope that's the next comic. The next comic is called Pirates of the Mystic Cave, which is how you definitely know that it's about Metal Sonic.
Yes.
This is Pirates of the Mystic Cave, Kitchiga Nelson. Amy finds herself kidnapped by vicious pirates in the Mystic Cave Zone, so it's up to Sonic to save her.
That sounds familiar.
The gang are at Mystic Cave searching for Amy, who has gone missing.
Again.
Not inspiring confidence so far. Let's see where it goes.
Yeah.
Let's see where it goes. Mystic Cave Zone, bunch of badniks that are empty?
Yes.
Yes, this I didn't think of much at the time, but there is a reason for this.
Yeah. Also, I guess perfectly capable of being dangerous anyway. Maybe it's easier if they don't have something in them, but residual power? Who knows?
I mean, they don't have
battery in
animals in them, but that doesn't mean they don't have some power source in
Yeah,
them.
just slap a C battery in there.
Alright. But, we're journeying through the cave, and suddenly a giant blast door closes behind us.
Also, Sonic gives, I think, the first genuine compliment to Tails when he says, "Fast move, kid."
Yeah? Yeah, that counts.
Yeah.
They're separated. There's those flasher lightbug badniks, and they're dangerous. They get shocked by them. Is this the first time we've seen Sonic lose to a robot?
Yes.
Didn't he get
grabbed
by the robot Sonic? I can't remember.
He did. Yeah, he did get taken inside the badnik Sonic. That's true.
Oh, yeah, okay.
But this is still different from that, because that time he just overpowered the badnik mind control and kept fighting. In this case, he got electrocuted and it knocks him unconscious.
Yeah.
And they wake up and find themselves in the presence of Captain Plunder here, this rigorously detailed pirate man.
Good way to put it. Rigorously detailed.
Well, I'm not sure how else to describe him, because I'm not sure what he is.
Walrus, I think. They call him a walrus, at least.
Oh, they do?
Yeah,
I didn't even notice.
that's the intention. Yeah, like this is its own thing. This is Sonic the comic. I don't really care if this guy looks like he fits with Sonic. He'll fit in these comics. And yeah, they did put a lot of work into this design.
Yeah, he's
Oh, yeah.
not. He doesn't feel Sonic-y, but he's not.
He's not uninteresting to look
Yeah,
at.
well, and he's clearly we're seeing that Elson is a talented artist. So.
Oh, yeah.
And he's got Amy in a cage back there, basically the same as last time. But instead of just being a malicious, well, he is malicious, but instead of just being a outright villain, he wants to get the Chaos Emeralds as ransom.
Yeah, this guy is kind of a little bit of a funny dude, I must say,
Mm.
because he is like over the top cruel, and we'll see more evidence of this as you go on. But yeah, he's not completely just straight. I'm gonna be mean. He does think it out a little bit, like you said, but sometimes he's just too impulsive. I like this bit when Sonic is like, I'll never give the emeralds over to Robotnik. And then Plunder is like, Psh, I'm not working for Robotnik, you idiot. I just stole those badniks. Anyway, now I'm going to execute the prisoner.
Yeah. Saying that entire sentence while kicking Tails in the ass, I might add.
But yeah, it's like, why did you not say that and then wait for Sonic to respond? It's funny.
Yeah. And yeah, we
Also,
kind of have
dude
a
has
fight
a
here.
roll
Sorry?
instead of a peg leg, I just noticed. That's so weird.
Yeah, it looks like the wheel of a shopping cart.
Yeah. I guess that would not make using a peg leg easier.
No.
I mean, you could kind of skate around. It's like having a peg leg Heelys.
Oh, God.
Anyway, so Sonic and Tails try to fight him. Sonic has to remind Tails he can fly briefly, but he also fights against one of basically the only minion of Captain Plunder that matters here, Filch, who is a ghost that Plunder shot in the head for taking too many cookies.
I was reeling from the whole shot in the head for taking cookies remark.
I mean, it's great.
Take that at face value.
Well, and technically they say biscuit, but this is a British comic where I know that biscuit means
It
cookies.
means cookie, yeah.
Yeah, this is great. Honestly, he's not overly complex, but
No.
I'm very amused by this guy.
He's fun.
And the icing on the cake is like the only way that this guy would have any crew is if they're just mindlessly devoted. And sure enough, because the Filch is like, oh yeah, I mean, I kind of deserved it, honestly.
Yeah, I deserved it. I.
Yeah, well, and, appropriately, we're fighting, and we don't really know why we're fighting, especially since he clarified he's not working for Robotnik.
Right.
And so we do that, and then Amy's just like, you guys are being really stupid. Couldn't we just, work together against Robotnik? You guys will get plenty of treasure from that.
Dumbasses. Why don't you do this?
And he's like, oh, yeah, okay.
Problem solved.
So the idea of him being kind of scatterbrained is, yeah, very accurate. He decides not to kill them, and they help him rob Robotnik, or at least they say they will.
Yep, it's the new alliance, basically.
Yes.
Yeah. And
Classic.
he says okay, and they leave, and Lewis and Johnny never to be seen again, apparently.
Yeah, that's fine.
They don't
even get
mentioned.
We don't care about them, I guess.
There's so much ambition. I can tell what they want these comics to be, but they're hamstrung by 6 to 7 pages.
Give them more pages.
Well, we're gonna get something with more pages.
Oh,
pretty
yes,
soon.
we are.
Good news. Our next story is The Sonic Terminator, a multiple-part story, thank God.
Multiple parts.
Yes, Kitching and Elson. Robotnik begins stepping up Badnik production, and Sonic's efforts to save Emerald Hill citizens from processing lands him and his friends in captivity on Robotnik's airship and other stuff, because I originally wrote these notes before I had the full volumes, so there's more stuff to it after that, but...
Yeah, there is a lot in this
Oh,
story,
yes,
actually.
there is.
Yes, we start off with Sonic running, and holy shit, there he is! And then he's gone.
Oh,
They're teasing me.
yep.
Those bastards.
And in fact, it's not even Sonic. I got jebaited because the Sonic we
Got
see is a fake. It's a
double-jebaited.
dummy for practice.
They're really building this guy up.
Yeah.
Damn right.
Then we cut to real Sonic, who sees some Robotnik forces rounding up Emerald Hill citizens. And I kind of thought we had retaken Emerald Hill by now, but
No, they've been inconsistent about that. Actually, it seemed like they had, but I think by this point it was fairly obvious that they've been literally been working underground.
Yeah, but now's the time to take a stand, I guess. Or at least it would
Yeah.
be. Sonic kind of doesn't. Okay, well, I mean, I think it's part of his plan, but it really does look like he just
It,
screws up and they get captured.
it does, yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's meant to seem that way.
Right, yeah.
In this moment, it is kind of weird though.
Sonic
Um,
wouldn't screw up, right?
it's also weird that these badniks that we've seen are definitely red before are now
Now they're
metallic.
silver, yeah.
Maybe these are the elite models or something, I don't know.
Yeah, these are
Maybe, yeah, that's
these are
fair.
the shadow bots.
One of them has a buzzsaw sticking out of his head for some reason.
He's the leader.
I thought the leader is this General Hogman.
Trusk.
Yeah, that's what his uniform says.
He's the leader of whatever.
I don't know why this guy isn't a robot, but whatever. Yeah, so Sonic and friends and everybody that got captured is being taken to Mount Mobius in the Veggio Fortress from Sonic Spinball. Sonic Spinball? I'm here for Sonic CD.
Don't worry.
Yeah, because we don't stay on their airship for long because, oh look, the Pirate Alliance from last issue.
Wow,
Uh,
already paying off.
yeah, I really appreciate that we get a through line with these comics, even if they're, the stories don't at first seem connected. They add up.
Well, I'm
Yeah.
surprised it happens so fast because I'm used to Archie setting things up and then not doing anything with it for like 5 issues.
Well, especially since, because Archie was always, written, in bulk
Right.
sometimes with all those Michael Gallagher throwaway stories.
Right.
Or Penders and Ballers just doing completely separate things in separate rooms.
Yeah.
But yes, this was Sonic's plan the whole time, and he didn't tell his friends on purpose just to be a dick.
Can't spoil a surprise, as he says for some reason.
Yes, you can.
Yep,
I mean-
classic Fleetway Sonic.
I suppose. But yeah, now it's time to fight. Pirates helping out. Would be cool to have more of a battle. We get one spread, which looks cool, but it's not. It's not a long fight,
Amy's got this little crossbow, which I don't know if this is going to be a recurring weapon or not, but she seems to have already had it, so maybe.
I mean, I'd
This
like
is
to see
Amy's
her
signature
having,
weapon in the comic. Yeah, she's a crossbow
Okay.
user. I'm not sure if she has the hammer at all.
Oh, interesting.
But yeah, she can hold her own in a fight, which is good because she hasn't up to this point. The big fucking loser hat does not go to Amy or to Sonic in this story. Instead, it goes to Lewis, who randomly blabs where Sonic hid the Chaos Emeralds.
Oh, Lewis.
Great.
But that's not even something that affects the villains of this issue. Instead, it ends up affecting the pirates because they were the ones who were out for those in the first place. So now they're going to get those.
Oh boy.
It is funny. I don't. Okay, I mean, Porker being Porker is kind of annoying, but I don't hate how quickly they're moving along the plot line with the pirates because, like, it's very obvious they're going to betray them. They say as much as the first opportunity, but you don't expect it to happen this quickly. But I'm not against it necessarily. I mean, they definitely seem like the type that aren't willing to wait too long.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah.
So we make our way to the Frozen Zone. The zone named the Frozen Zone. I guess we can't do Ice Cap because that's Angel Island, but I feel like we could have had a better name than that. But yes, the pirates going into the ice caves, Sonic's crew following closely behind trying to stop them. I don't know what Porker's weapon here is. It looks like a miniature calculator.
It's a Star Trek tricorder.
It's
He's
Nicole.
gonna calculate
Looks like one.
the best way that everyone can defeat their opponents in the middle of a fight.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Actually, Amy's mini crossbow is really strong because it breaks a sword being swung at him.
Yeah.
It could be that, or possibly both. It could also be that Plunder's crew's weapons are just in terrible shape.
That's
Also a good point.
Probably
yeah.
more likely.
The ice here is really hard because Sonic manages to make a makeshift jail by spinning off some icicles. So yeah, I guess if you have fight scenes like this paced across a multi-part story, they don't all need to be super long. But unfortunately, it is all for naught as Tails gets taken hostage, and Sonic is like, "Fine, I'll give you the emeralds to get him back," which I guess is the second nice thing that Sonic has done for Tails in this comic, but again, also probably part of the plan, question mark.
Sonic, I mean, he insults Tails, but he would never like harm Tails. Like it's just words. It's not. It's the words, not the sticks and the stones. That's kind of Sonic's policy in these comics.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. I guess I guess the ratio of Sonic and Tails' violence is in Tails' favor since he kicked Sonic in the ass in that one comic. But yeah, they take the jewels and they just leave. And Tails is like, Sonic, you kept them somewhere cold because they become unstable otherwise. So it's like,
It's just kind of like, yeah.
well, I was expecting to turn the page and see their airship just fucking explode, but no.
Oh my gosh.
Instead, we take the tornado up to their airship, and they've turned into hippies. What?
Sure.
I did not expect this.
No.
The Chaos Emeralds have the side effect of LSD? I don't know.
They
Some kind of
absorb
drug?
evil energy.
Okay, yes. They say that the Chaos Emeralds absorb evil energy, which I guess is what Kintober was trying to do,
That is true.
which made the
Which
pirates serene and peaceful.
This is interesting. So I'm not. Maybe the machine changed them somehow, but I didn't expect the emeralds to still absorb evil when they're not in the machine like that. So
Well, I think that's something
con-
they can do naturally.
I guess they contain a bunch of concentrated evil, but they also absorb evil, which makes them seem a little less risky to use, perhaps.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So, I guess the way I'd look at it is that they naturally absorb evil energy, but what Kintober's machine was doing was expanding the range of that, perhaps?
Oh, that kind of makes
Oh
sense.
yeah.
Now, what that has to do with them making Sonic into Supersonic, or indeed why that's not happening right now, I am not sure.
Oh,
They're not
so
they're
that
not unstable enough, I guess.
I just realized that's why Supersonic is crazy in these comics, is because he's
Oh.
charged up with evil in the emeralds.
Oh, interesting.
Maybe, except Sonic can go into Supersonic without emeralds in this comic, so I don't know.
I mean, you could also say he was affected by the emeralds to make that possible.
Maybe he's tied
That
to
is
them
what I
somehow,
thought.
yeah.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
that or the story we saw the origin of Supersonic. They did mention that they were putting off a lot of radiation, so it could have still been a case of he was under some sort of threat.
Yeah,
That
maybe
aside,
maybe the danger of the emeralds forced it out of him, I don't know.
Yeah,
Either way, yeah, the pirates have become so chilled out because the emeralds absorbed their evil that they're like, yeah, just take the emeralds, we don't care.
yeah, take him. We don't give a crap.
So it all worked out just fine. We're gonna go home, everything's back to normal. Oh shit!
Oh hell yeah!
oh wait, it's the one you've all been waiting for.
Yeah, home
Hell
is
yeah.
in dire repair because Metal Sonic is exploding it.
Hell yeah!
Which-
And it's just proper Metal Sonic. Wow.
It is, it's
Heck
him.
yeah!
Which is very strange in terms of the segue because we're back in the base now, which I thought was under Emerald Hill Zone. Do we not follow up on the destruction caused there?
I don't think it's actually under Emerald Hill Zone.
Maybe not. I don't know where it is in that case.
I don't.
But yeah, it's kind of business as usual, even though this is
Oh.
part 3 of the story.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't know. It's kind of weird.
But it's okay. We get a tortured Mario reference with Sonic playing a Marxio Brothers game.
Okay, so the Marxio Brothers games exist in universe, as do the Marxio Brothers. So, what are their game? Do their games just sell horribly, and that's why they have to like work for Robotnik?
Yeah,
Maybe-
they're failed celebrities.
Maybe it's like their personal homebrew project, and Sonic just stole it during the casino night visit.
Oh my
They make
gosh.
homebrew Genesis cartridges. Interesting.
I mean, Lauren, you made a game with you and me in it, so
Hmm.
anyway, yeah. Also, Marxio Brothers game appears to be on a Sega console, but well, I don't know. Actually, does that
Uh-huh.
look more like an SNES?
I'm pretty sure that's supposed to be a Genesis.
Yeah. Okay.
Or, excuse me, to Europe, it's a Mega Drive.
Oh, of course. Anyway, Amy calls. She's at Neverlake, and yeah, something's here. Something with a spiky hand.
I wonder what
Mm.
it could be.
And yeah, we're saving Amy again. That's her role in Sonic CD, so they can't exactly not do that. But then they shouldn't have
Right.
done it twice before. Um,
That's true.
but yeah, we gotta get there quick. In fact, we gotta get there so quick that Sonic leaves before Johnny's done talking.
Almost looking like the message he left was written in midair by no one.
I guess he wrote the message fast, ran out of there, and that kicked it up in the air.
Yeah, something like
Yeah.
that.
But yeah, we get to Never Lake. We see Little Planet, or Miracle Planet as they call it in this comic, chained up to the
Right.
mountain with Robotnik's face. It also has giant blasts of fire coming off of it for some reason.
Oh dear.
Yeah, that is wild.
Yeah, and Amy is here on a giant pillar.
An effective trap.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
not clear immediately that she's actually out here as bait for Sonic, but
Right.
yeah, Robotnik is he's doing some stuff to Little Planet, and yeah, she's pure bait. And here's Metal Sonic, or as he calls himself in this comic, METALLIX.
Interestingly, yes, that's true. But they say I am METALLIX, the Metal Sonic. So
Right.
they
So it's
use
like Metal
both.
Sonic is his species.
Yeah, or like his title.
Ye- Title might be a better way to put it.
Well, actually, either would be acceptable, but that's moving way too far ahead.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Fleetway's version of this character is pretty consistently referred to as METALLIX, so I'm
Makes
gonna
sense.
try to remember to call him that. I'm gonna call him Metal Sonic a lot, probably anyway.
My notes all say Metal or Metal Sonic, so
Yeah,
I'll probably be calling him Metal Sonic.
but he throws some rocks at Sonic. That's the primary part of our fight here is rock throwing.
Oh, nice. He's got the power of rocks.
They go a little Dragon Ball Z here in their wasteland with the way they bounce off the cliffside back and forth.
Oh yeah,
going
no,
fast.
this next page is very DBZ.
And he has a chest laser.
Yeah, which
Very DBZ.
does Metal Sonic have that in any of the games? Because I feel like the comics have done that, both Archie and this.
I feel like he does, but I don't think he actually has ever been shown to in the game. It's in Sonic the Fighters.
Okay.
A laser, you mean?
Yeah, he has a chest laser.
Okay.
It's called the Plasma Pulse Attack.
In any case, yeah, convenient that CD's intro is in a rocky wasteland because it is very Saiyan arc.
Oh, yeah.
Complete with Amy saying they're moving too fast for me to see. But as the dust clears, Amy sees Sonic stumbling through, but it's actually METALLIX, which, like, whatever. I guess they're supposed to look similar. But it's like, oh no, he's won, but just kidding, no he hasn't, he falls over.
Mm.
But he actually
just
has...
kidding, just kidding. He actually,
Yeah,
yeah.
just kidding, just
Yeah.
kidding.
There's a real back and forth to it. Sonic he falls down. Sonic insults Amy, but gasp, it's a plot. He's not done yet. He's instead grabbing Amy and making a tactical retreat.
Ooh, kidnapping.
Yeah, we gotta journey onto the occupied Little Planet.
Yeah, we do have to actually get on to Little Planet, so...
Yeah, and oops, because one of the things this comic established is that rather than once a year, Little Planet only exists for once a month. And after Sonic goes up there, Tails, Johnny, and Lewis get here just in time to watch it disappear.
Oh, that's what was happening.
Yeah.
So are we going to be trapped here for a month?
Well, yes, theoretically.
Theoretically, yes.
I guess given how these comics were released, it was about a month real time.
Oh, yeah.
Fair enough, yeah.
But we appear on Little Planet, and I guess we're in Bad Future Zone already, although I don't know which area from CD this would theoretically be.
Oh boy, that is a good question.
It kind of just looks like more chemical plants, if I'm honest.
True.
And Amy's like, oh, how could all this be built so quickly? Which Sonic does not answer at all. He doesn't even, acknowledge that she asked, but, I guess he
Yeah.
doesn't know
Never
either.
mind.
I mean, yeah, he wouldn't know.
Anyway, here's METALLIX. It's
Phasing
very
through the
funny,
wall.
actually.
Phasing out of the wall like the T-1000.
Well, both
Yeah,
that
well,
and
gotta get in that reference.
Yeah, it's true.
Well, it's also
Sonic Terminator.
it's also funny because Amy's like, you and me alone on this planet for a whole month. How romantic. And Sonic's like, I'd rather fight METALLIX. And then he's like, as you wish.
If
is
that's what
pretty
you
good.
want.
Yeah. And Between me writing the notes on this issue and now, I actually saw Terminator 2, so I didn't realize that that was the reference. It is definitely T-1000, though.
Wow, yeah, I didn't realize you wrote your notes that long ago.
Yeah, but, we're fighting, and we do a little bit of a... You know how Sonic ran across half the planet in 5 seconds last week?
Oh, yeah.
Well, this time, he runs across the entire planet to hit Metal Sonic from behind.
Okay, but, like, it's Little Planet.
Yeah,
It is Little
Miracle
Planet.
It is a little planet.
Honestly, I find this moment to be pretty funny too, because Amy is like, "What? Why is he running away?" And then Sonic is just zooms in as like planets around girl, as if it's like an obvious move.
Mm,
Oh yeah, anybody would have done that.
yeah, you know.
He's seeing forward in time to Sonic Origins, where Amy can run as fast as him. But it doesn't actually manage to do much because METALLIX is very strong. Apparently, the machinery on the planet supplies him with energy.
Yeah, because he's like the planet is part of him or something.
This iteration of Metal Sonic, METALLIX, definitely seems beefed up compared to like Metal Sonic and Sonic CD, certainly.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, CD Metal Sonic is definitely supposed to be... Metal Sonic of the games is supposed to be a match for Sonic if he's not powered up by something else. This one, if it's really powered by the entire planet, it almost seems kind of like a self-defeating problem, just because, you know, you need a whole planet to power this one thing that you use to protect the planet that's being powered by it.
That's a very Eggman thing to do.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
a perpetual motion
true.
robot. But everything looks grim, except a tiny Sonic jumps out to help with a rock.
I did not expect this at all. Like,
Yeah, I remember time travel.
yeah, well, okay. So this is the interesting thing about Sonic CD is it played very safe with the time travel, which, like, you know, sure, good, because it would be
Yeah.
like Sonic 06 otherwise.
The more you don't, the more fucked it gets.
But yeah, I mean, Sonic never met themselves in Sonic CD, but sure, in a comic adaptation, why not?
What
Yes.
I'm realizing is that Sonic definitely should have met himself in Sonic CD because that would have been funny.
Well, yeah.
Well, no, you should have done the fake out. You think you're meeting Sonic from the future past or whatever, but that's
Oh, no, it's
actually Metal
Metal.
Sonic.
That would have actually been a cool.
Do a fucking Ren and Stimpy style close off of his face melting off and being Metal Sonic. No, I think that's striking a different tone than that game was going for. Anyway, yes, this is Sonic from the future. He got tiny from that shrink beam from Metallic Madness, which is just here.
Yeah, kind of solidifying.
Oh, I
this isn't
forgot
really
about the
based
shrink beam.
on the zone. I always remember those from Sonic Mania.
I'll admit, I haven't played Metallic Madness in a while, so
He also hands Sonic the rock that he was carrying, which I assume is a time stone,
It is.
but didn't know at the time of reading it. It just looks like a rock. The history lesson
is.
showed them as colorful gemstones.
yeah, and now they're just rocks.
But Metallix is coming at us fast, and he's big now, so you better act or retroact fast, I guess. But yes, future Sonic tells present Sonic, this is already fucked. He tells him to use the time stone to go fix the past because he's a stable time loop version of himself that's already done it.
Right.
So how that makes the future fit, whatever. Fuck.
We'll address that at the end of the story.
Yeah. So Sonic travels back through time, and the time stone disappears on the way there.
Yeah, I mean, I guess this is kind of weird because in the games, you know, I actually can't remember what the time zones are supposed to do in the games because they barely have a use in game. I mean, like they have more than the Chaos Numbers in Sonic 1, to be fair, but you don't really use them directly. So, are they actually used for time traveling?
I think it's just to get the good ending. I don't think
So-
they're given any.
So if you get all the time stones in CD, you just only get good futures from the point you do it on. I'm pretty sure. It's either that or it just gives you bad futures, but then it replaces the ending cutscene with the good ending.
Fascinating.
Well, so they're called time stones.
Well, I assume the implication is that you do all of the regular route stuff with the time stones, and then Sonic at the end of the game goes back and fixes time once he's got all of them.
Okay, I was just wondering if because they instead of using those weird signs that I guess are properties of the planet itself, they decided to use a time stone. But I don't actually know if you can just like use a time stone to time travel.
You shouldn't be able to do it with just one, no. But I
Yeah,
understand that as an adaptation decision. I just don't know what it
Yeah, no,
means about the.
it's fine,
yeah.
and I guess it just disappears because same reason chaos emeralds go away when you use them.
Yeah, I guess. Anyway, as you might expect from the game, Sonic finds the generator, which looks evil as fuck in this version.
Hell
Of
yeah.
course,
He dives inside it to find another time stone. The same one? Sonic says the time stone like there's only one.
it
Mm,
seems like there's only one.
yeah, I think we'll have to wait for them to establish that there's actually multiple.
I
Yeah.
mean, they did show them at one
Yeah,
point all,
yeah.
but they seem to
When we
have
had our like lore intro.
they seem to have changed their mind though.
Yeah,
Yeah. So, generator goes bust after Sonic rips it out. He travels back to the future. It looks like it still sucks. It doesn't create a good future, which it would have to have already for him to. Time travel sucks.
Don't worry.
Our Sonic
yeah.
has to play out the choreography of everything that he did when he was past Sonic, Dave Strider style, complete with literal reuse of the same art. Which I guess if
One
there's
of the
ever a time for it.
Yeah, one of the pages is exactly the same, which is honestly kind of hilarious how boldly just lazy that is.
That's an Archie move. Let's be honest.
True.
I'm thinking of is it the Knuckles election arc where it just zooms in on the same drawing of a dude for an entire page?
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
remembering that one page where Locke is talking to somebody, and it's just the same frame 4 times.
Oh yeah, yeah. Or the one where it like zooms in on Knuckles' concerned face, which is the same drawing as the previous one, and then zooms back out. There's so much good shit in Archie. Anyway,
I don't think we're going to get to that level, but this one move I will find funny as long as they do not make it a pattern.
no, like I said, they have a good excuse. Anyway, Sonic
Yeah, yeah.
sends himself back in time and asks why nothing has changed, and then everything changes?
You just gotta wait for it to kick in, Sonic. It's okay.
You're right that this doesn't make much sense,
No, not really.
but it's Miracle Planet. It's got its own weird properties. The Time Stone, is a magical
Well,
artifact.
things.
It in Sonic CD they don't go into it too deeply, but obviously there is rewriting history in the games. You can go to the bad future,
Yeah.
and then you can change it to a
Yeah.
good future later. So partially because they don't get into it, and because I think they know that they shouldn't get too deep into it. I don't really think of the time travel on Little Planet too hard.
That's
this is kind
probably
of
smart.
weird, but I kind of just think that the planet has weird magical properties and don't think too hard about it. Basically,
As we have established multiple times over at this point, Lauren and I are both Doctor Who fans, which means that we're used to the explanation of time travel that is best described as, fuck it. So, it's what it is. I don't know why it means that because of all this, METALLIX was never built and he disappears along with the bad future.
Because we destroyed the source
It's not
of the
gonna stick, there's
generator
gonna
in
be
the
more
past.
Metal Sonic, so...
I mean, yeah. I mean, well, I feel okay. I do feel like that's just something that Robotnik's bound to think up.
In any case, that is the end of our Sonic CD adaptation. It was fun enough, I suppose.
Yeah, I didn't have any problems with it.
no, I enjoyed it honestly. It's pretty
It
good.
looks cool, and Sonic
Yeah.
is fun, and Metal Sonic. I like Metal Sonic.
My only complaint is that it actually doesn't cover a lot of CD stuff.
I wish
But
we had more Sonic CD zones, because, I mean, the aesthetic of
Yeah.
that game is one of the best things about it.
yeah. But you don't have to do everything beat for beat, and that is boring if you do. Just
No.
sort of taking some of the ideas of CD and making this story. I like it for that.
Yeah.
Also, Sonic and Amy do end up stranded on Little Planet for a month because of this. How Robotnik did not seize on the opportunity to cause absolute chaos with no Sonic to stop him, I don't know, but that's what happens.
But we still have quite a few stories left in this episode. It might be one of our longer ones. We are moving on here to Ocean of Horror, Lou Stringer and Richard Elson. A trap is sprung on the heroes in Oil Ocean Zone, and it looks like Sonic's speed won't be enough. Yes, it will.
Of course.
Of course,
It's
yeah.
Oil Ocean Zone. It doesn't really look like it, other than there's lots of oil, but that's fine.
That's all you need for an oil ocean.
We're gonna do some robot fights. We have those octopus badniks from Oil Ocean Zone, and
So, on this first page, though, they talk about this contraption, this like pump that's churning out oil. Which I never thought too hard about what the deal with Oil Ocean Zone is. Like, why is there a whole ocean of oil? But the idea of Robotnik just like pumping up oil and then just spitting it out just to pollute it because he's just that way is perfect.
yeah, I was never sure if that was entirely him on West Side Island in Sonic 2, but this certainly goes with that interpretation. And Western depictions of Robotnik are always just in love with pollution, so it fits. And yeah, we're gonna destroy the oil pump, and it's controlled by a single lever. Simple lever.
I mean,
except
Sonic
it's not.
is like, yeah, it's pretty obviously a trap.
Robotnik shows up on TV to say, "Oh, this was all bait, and I'm actually blowing the whole place up." This is the second time that Oil Ocean Zone is going to be set on fire and explode, and it's not the last time in this series.
Honestly, it's kind of funny, the idea of there being like something that is our whole purpose is to blow it up, but they just keep not being able to blow it up. I kind of like that.
Yeah. So Sonic races around, doing the Counter Strike. Where's the bomb? And we're looking for it, and we get more and more reckless until he runs clean off of an edge. So he's like, shoot, and then the adrenaline kicks in, and he's supersonic.
Yeah, so he was super in Oil Ocean Zone last time, also. So,
yeah. I guess this is just an especially dangerous place.
I mean, it is an ocean of oil.
Yeah. And of course, Supersonic is even more reckless. I'd be surprised if he didn't set off the bomb himself. Instead, they find the bomb, and his plan is to fly around it so fast that he forms a cocoon of speed that contains the explosion.
So
what does that mean?
Cocoon of speed.
What do you mean?
This would make more sense if they didn't put it that way, because cocoon of speed is just silly. But I mean, I think the idea is if he just moves fast enough, he can just block it with his body.
Yes, body blocking the explosion by going that fast. That would make sense, especially if we establish here that Supersonic is quote unquote invincible. Don't know if he is, don't know if that's how that works, don't know how clear that is, but yes.
Fun.
But that's not what they say. They say cocoon of speed, so I don't know.
They do.
He's just got to be fancy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they win, and the bomb's done, and Robotnik's upset, and yeah.
So there is one little thing, a few things to touch on. One is that he immediately undoes Super, which means this is like the most useful Supersonic has been in this comic. He like wasn't hurtful at all.
It's true.
Second thing is that Sonic is like, wow, okay, so I guess we did it. And Tails is like, oh, yeah. You like almost died, but then I saved you. Like, it looks like he's lying and making himself out to be more heroic, even though he didn't do anything.
I mean, he says, I was here to save you. Does he just mean catching Sonic right here, right now?
That's what I figured.
Maybe. But Sonic is like, good job. I can never remember much about when I was Supersonic. I might have to thank you. Like, he seems like they're talking about something in the past. I don't know, though. Kind of a weird exchange.
Yeah.
I think that was another one that was in a poster mag and not a main issue, but it's hard to tell. I don't think there's a real difference in how they're written, other than probably the most important stories are in the issues. Anyway, moving along to The Sentinel, Nigel Kitching and Farron Rodriguez. Farron Rodriguez.
There we go.
When AI Kentober notices a mysterious stone soldier rising from the waters of aquatic ruin, Sonic decides to investigate. And, everybody else is busy. Lewis and Johnny are both gone. Tails is in the Nameless Zone. Don't ask where that is. We're not quite there yet.
Yeah, they don't say that in the comic.
No, it just says Tails is MIA or something.
But there is editor's note that's like, hey, check out the story.
Yeah, you should buy more of our comics.
Yeah. And Amy has some personal business to take care of, which I don't think there's any explanation for what that is. So, Sonic is going alone, we have the usual Badnik fighting ensues, but, I like that each time we go to a different location, we tend to get different Badniks in these comics.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not been quite as consistent over time, but here we're back to actually being fairly true to the game version of Aquatic Ruin, which I appreciate.
Yeah, we got those little buzzfly, whatever they're called, Badniks. Sonic falls in the water, though, after getting shot at by the arrows, and he gets trapped under some rubble, but suddenly that big stone Dark Souls statue we're talking about starts moving and saves him. And he doesn't know who Robotnik is, because he's older than everything.
Older than dirt.
Yeah. And Sonic's like, "Who are you?" He's like, "I am a Sentinel made to guard the city, but now the city's gone, and the people that were here left the planet and me behind."
And Sonic is like, "Wow, that sucks." And he's like, "Wait, but you could help us or something." Oh, darn.
Yeah,
No.
he says since there's nothing to protect anymore, he just self-destructs and falls apart.
Even though there is very much stuff to still protect.
So what I'm wondering is this foreshadowing of something?
Okay, so I was gonna say that I have been spoiled on a few details of Sonic the Comic, and I do know for a fact that the civilization this guy relates to comes up again later.
Okay.
That's interesting because I've read further in this comic than you guys, and I know some stuff about Sonic the Comic. I have no idea what this is, so...
Oh, okay.
Interesting. That's the whole story, though. Not much of a story.
Yeah.
I feel like...
Yeah, without that information, this is like, what?
I feel like you so easily could weave this stuff together if you just had the pages for it. Last issue and this issue could have been, one story somehow. I don't know. The bomb could have been in Aquatic Ruin or something.
Yeah?
But that's not the story we get. Instead, one of the stories we get here is Metamorphia, written by Lou Stringer, drawn by Mike Hadley. Returning from liberating more friends from Robotnik, Sonic is called away to a foreign zone to fight a mysterious foe. So yes, we're busy busting Badnik capsules, business as usual. And there is something strange about the juxtaposition of tiny little Birdman and fully sized bear humanoid with clothes.
Yeah, both just coming out of the capsule,
Which is normal for Sonic, it's just not normal that they both are sentient beings that talk.
Right, yeah.
But, they save people and then it's like, oh, one of the civilians comes up, which is this bear lady with strange eyes.
Obviously evil or a trap or something.
Maybe? I don't know how suspicious you're supposed to be, because if it weren't for that, I don't think you'd be that suspicious.
I mean, Tails and Amy are like, hey, they're suspicious, so I don't know.
Yeah, but Amy just becomes enraged at the sight of another woman because this is Sonic Battle, so...
It's not that bad.
No, it's not. But yes, she needs help because there's some kind of monster in her home zone, so Sonic's like, I'll help.
That's what you do.
But we go to visit that zone, and it is in fact a dilapidated town full of badniks.
Hell yeah.
And surprise, the monster was me.
It's almost like we could have predicted that.
Yes, this is Metamorphia, a shapeshifter henchman of Robotnik's. And weird. I don't know how her eyes work.
A muscular, sharp-toothed shapeshifter that is colored brown in a Sonic comic. Dingo, is that you?
Oh my god.
If Sonic Underground was already lifting fucking Aether from the Archie comics, maybe they looked at Metamorphia.
Perhaps.
I don't know what her natural species is supposed to be. If she is meant to be a bear, she looks more cat-like in some issues.
The shapeshifters, you never know if they have, like, a natural form or not. Only time will tell, I think.
Well, this is similar to the face that she wears when she's quote-unquote not shapeshifting, so I don't know.
Right.
But she's really, really dangerous. Sonic tries to fight her, but she transforms into frigging knockout gas.
That is, it's not very often shapeshifters are shown to be that kind of powerful.
Breathe me.
Yeah, that's a little also fucking weird to think about.
Yeah. But yeah, Sonic is unconscious. She throws him in what they call a retro block.
What kind of name is that?
Well, She says any force you use is reversed back at you. So,
That Retrobrock doesn't scream that to me. I don't know.
well, I mean, like, retro as in retroactive is you move back. I don't know.
Okay, I guess.
Guess, yeah.
No, it makes me think that, like, the wall should be, like, patterned with, like, 80s Nintendo memorabilia. But,
Well, but the thing is, it's in like this colorful like beam of light, so it's kind of got that almost video gamey aesthetic to it.
well, and Sonic's strategy for getting out is very silly, which is that he's like, oh, if it reverses my attacks back at me, then I'll just relax and enjoy my new home.
Which what?
Well, so if it really does take on the trait of anything you do to it, then
I
relaxing
guess?
and being and softening up, so to speak, should make it soft enough that you could theoretically push through.
I guess.
But that's not what
Um.
happens. Sonic relaxes and just like feels good, thinks hard at it, and then the wall just explodes.
Yeah, that's what you just described, Devin, is not what I would have thought, but I would have more readily accepted that than this. This doesn't make any sense.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, because the idea is that it's supposed to bounce your attacks back.
Right.
Exploding is not a equal and opposite reaction to not exploding.
Yeah, definitely not.
Yeah.
But yes, he breaks out, he punches Metamorphia, and then she's like, ah, shit, and then just transforms into a rocket, Oolong style, and flies off. Yeah, Sonic gives chase, but she's too fast, question mark? But it's like, oh, hey, off-model Tails, you're not supposed to look off-model, but you do.
But you do.
He is talking weird. He's like taking on Sonic's rudeness.
Yes, and that, I guess, would be the obvious clue that, yeah, it's not Tails.
Yeah.
This ruse makes it all of 4 panels, so that's what happens when you talk too much shit. It means Sonic can't be fooled. My friend is much more of a doormat than that.
Oh my gosh.
But he beats her, Sonic goes home, Metamorphia swears revenge, and I'm left a little bit lukewarm on all this.
It happened. That's about as much as I can say.
I think it's a cool idea for a villain.
Oh yeah, sure.
Well, I know this villain does show up more later, so.
Yeah. So I don't know. Plant some seeds and then do stuff with them.
I guess,
Let's move
yeah.
on to The Pretender, Lou Stringer and Mike Hadley again. Sonic is thrown off his game when a new hedgehog hero enters the game. I just used game twice, that doesn't work well. Could he be more than he seems?
Holy shit, it's Scourge.
Yes!
Indeed. It is green alternative hedgehog. Yeah, some badniks are attacking, they're very threatening buzz bombers, and Sonic is ready to save the people being attacked, but he's shown up by Cosmic the Hedgehog, a green Sonic with a cape and a
You know,
blonde
you say
hair.
that they're
big
buzz
old
bombers.
E.
You say that they're buzz bombers, but the comic very clearly says Motobugs.
Oh, those
my
dickheads!
gosh.
You got it wrong! Fake fans, ruined
Such
forever.
A crazy mistake.
Okay, Cosmic the Hedgehog, yes, green Sonic with a cape, a blonde hair curl, and a letter C on his chest.
I thought that was a. I don't think it's a C. I think it's just. It's a tuft of hair.
No, on his chest.
Oh, on his chest. Whatever.
Well, okay, he clearly has like a crescent moon motif going on here, but yes, it's a
Yeah.
letter C and then just a conveniently crescent-shaped hair curl. I mean, I guess it's also a Superman thing, because he's got that going on.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just a tattoo or something.
And depressingly, this is still very competitive with a lot of Archie Sonic ripoffs.
That is actually true.
That is true.
Sadly.
This one is at least maybe a little bit on purpose, but yes, Sonic is immediately aggressive and ready to compete by proving he's better than Cosmic.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, you think you're better than me? What if we race? And Tails is like, Sonic, what if this is a trap? And Sonic's like, shut up, dipshit. No, that's how it exists, but that's
You
what
might
it
as
feels
well
like.
say that.
And then they both blast off so fast that it sends Tails and Johnny flying.
Yeah, along with all the flowers from the flower bed. You're killing nature. You're the real Robotnik.
There you go.
But yes, yeah, treating Tails over the line for your own ego. That's another tell the difference between Sonics. I'm thinking of the Sad AM episode where it's like Sonic has to race for his own ego, but then he just abandons it when he realizes people are in danger. Not here though.
No, he's too
True.
egocentric.
Sonic, well, he wins the race. Actually, Cosmic is just not fast enough.
And also seems to get dizzy after the loop-de-loop.
I
Wouldn't you?
would like to point out that they always, when they dial up Sonic's sort of insufferableness too high, they always bring him back down a little bit because he wins, but then he sees that Cosmo is like super tuckered out, and he's actually like concerned for them.
That's fair. You just called him Cosmo, by the way, but
Cosmic.
yeah.
The Sonic X brainworm can't leave yet.
See, but here's the thing, though, is that you say he doubles back to show him compassion, and you're right, but that was a bad move, because Cosmic reveals that he's actually Metamorphia.
Oops. Then that's why Sonic must never be nice.
Oh, there you go, yeah.
She set him up with a Badnik army to attack while he's away. And also punches him in the head.
That's fine, he deserves that.
And this is the form that she will typically take with this purple metallic armor.
Yeah. I didn't expect... I mean, okay, like, the Pretender and this Sonic lookalike, you can see it coming, but I didn't expect initially for them to show up again, back-to-back in 2 comics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she beats up Sonic. She tries to smack him with pickaxe hand, but he dodges. Tries to trap him in a net and become gas again. But Sonic learned from last time and gets... he does. I guess he does tornado move is what he's doing, which works because she's gaseous.
Yeah, I do appreciate that that Sonic can find a way to counter that. That's kind of cool.
Yeah. But Sonic, runs back, and she becomes a different Green Sonic to give chase. It's not Cosmic, because he doesn't have a cape or a monogram.
No,
on
it's
the
literally
head.
just Green Sonic.
It's Gronic.
Oh god, no, we don't need Green Sonic.
Metamorphia is in a hurry. They can't get all the details in right now. Gotta run.
I guess that must be what it is. He also has prominent eyelashes, so I guess that's like she's...
Oh, woman.
It's weird, because Gronic here has prominent eyelashes, but Metamorphia herself kind of doesn't.
That's interesting, yeah.
But she gets hoisted by her own petard in that Sonic leads her back there. The Badniks recognize her as Sonic and attack her.
With an incredible face.
Yeah, that's some squinty eyes for the ages. So Sonic and friends fight the Badniks off, and by the end, Metamorphia is nowhere to be found.
Are they destroyed for good?
Probably
Who
not.
knows?
Johnny says, "I don't like to say I told you so, but..." And it's weird, because, Johnny, you didn't tell him so. Tails told him so.
That's
a good point.
So, yeah, two comics to make an interesting introduction to the villain.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm all for original recurring characters.
sure, yeah.
But, we gotta make up for Tails being slighted by that, because we are actually at the end of the first volume of the collected issues.
Crap.
Which means that we are moving on to the first volume of the collected Tails issues, because Tails got a bunch of his own serialized stories in this comic.
Heck yeah.
Hell yeah.
So, yeah, we're starting on the volume 1 of 2 of the Tails comics. So we're starting here with Tails the Nameless Zone, Nigel Kitching and Dave Windett on art. Rejected by Sonic for being too slow, Tails finds himself contacted by his home of the Nameless Zone. But they have big expectations for the little guy, as he's been embellishing his heroism in letters to his family.
Damn.
And, yeah, we start off with Tails being Sonic's punching bag.
So nothing new, really.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but it's like, some of the times that Sonic has been rude to Tails has been when Tails has genuinely screwed something up, or at least said something that was way too obvious.
That's true.
This is just Tails failing to be the fastest thing alive, which I don't feel he should be expected to be. But it's okay. We don't have sad stuck for now. We have instead a helpful portal.
Wow.
And Tails is already aware of this portal because it leads to his home, question mark?
Yeah, you said it in the summary, and by the end of these two stories we're going to cover, I guessed as much, but it's kind of confusing, at least at first.
At
Well, because
first,
I don't know exactly what he's doing here, and it seems like he lives a lot more of his life outside of this place.
We certainly don't know the reason for that yet.
Right.
Yeah, so this is the Nameless Zone, which is kind of a high fantasy world, and it has the Enchanter Kings as its leaders.
Okay, I really shouldn't keep doing this, but magical foxes that have certain ties to like Tails's ancestry,
Oh.
like that's very Archie, isn't it?
That is very Archie.
Well, I guess you're saying Merlin, right?
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I was thinking Knuckles just because all of the foxes they're just Tails palette swaps that are taller. Which fair enough. At least they made them taller and not just all the same size.
Taller and fair enough.
The thing is, Tails in every version of Sonic, him having two tails to fly with, that is magic on its own because he's a kitsune. It's a Japanese mythology thing.
Yes.
Which means that as he ages, he should actually sprout more tails until he gets 9. But
that is true.
That would be so weird.
Well, we're not at Sonic Prime yet, so
I'm about to say that says something like that is related to Sonic Prime.
Gosh, I'm getting spoilers for Sonic Prime.
it's the first episode. Don't worry about it. Anyway, Tails' family is from here and has been getting letters about how he's helping Sonic. But apparently he was lying and saying he was doing all the work and Sonic's just an assistant.
Damn it, Sonic. Whatever your name is.
Yes, these other dudes are like, we've heard about how you're such a hero, and we kind of need a hero right now. So they need Tails to armor up and get fighting against Trog.
Ooh, my favorite villain.
Oh no.
Trog.
What
The
species
fuck is
would
he?
you say this man is?
Well, we will later find that there is a reason for
that's
that
true, we
being
will.
question. But, right off the bat, if we're relating it to real life species, I don't know. They always draw them in weird ways when they anthropomorphize them. Demon, sure.
Well, I mean, he is a monster, obviously. I'm just saying, like, he has kind of a rat face, but kind of a boar sort of hair and ears, but not rat teeth.
I don't know if I'd say his face is rat-like. He's almost got like a beak.
Yeah, but he's still fuzzy, so...
He is fuzzy. I don't know. He's a weird little man.
Is this what kobolds looked like in older versions of Dungeons and Dragons?
Oh, yeah, I kind of seems maybe correct, yeah.
I just pronounced that Duns and Dragonch, but,
we knew what you were talking about.
I had some of the fucking Derek Savage inflection. But, yes, Tails has to fight Trog, this goblin, kobold, motherfucker, whatever he is, trying to invade the Nameless Zone from elsewhere, question mark?
Yeah, they do say that they have a whole army in another dimension that's linked with this bridge.
Who knows? All of these guys awfully eager to armor up this 8-year-old to fight him. Like, even if you do say he's heroic, it's like, come on, guys.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously played for comedy, but it is kind of strange that they're like, oh, wow, none of us can face him. Oh, wait, what about Tails, who we've only heard about?
Yeah, I mean, these dudes have swords and a staff and shit. I don't know. But yes, we have to fight on the Dimension Bridge. And Trog is like, is this a fucking joke? And, that's a fair question.
That is a fair question.
This story is honestly just a big joke.
It is, yes.
Yeah,
we'll get there. Tails swings at him with his dinky, pathetic sword. Why
didn't they give him a better sword? Gosh darn it.
It needs to be small enough for him to lift, I guess. Which should have been your clue that this was a bad idea.
Real.
It does nothing. I'm not even sure if it hits him or if it just is not hard or what.
It kind of looks like it's in front of him.
There's a chuck sound effect, but I don't know if that's just the sound of him swinging it.
I think that's just the sound of him swinging it because he's still holding it in that frame.
Yeah. But Trog tries to swing back, but just as he's about to hit, the rope bridge that they're on conveniently breaks.
Oh, wait a minute. Look, you can see it's like splintered a little bit when Tails swings his sword. I think he accidentally hit the rope.
Oh!
Oh!
Okay, you know what? That actually makes it better.
Oh, yeah! Okay.
Okay, you know what? That actually improves this a lot more. I thought it was
That
just
makes a lot
conveniently
more
breaking,
sense,
but no,
yeah.
Tails actually
Yeah.
just hit it by accident.
Yeah. That makes a lot more sense.
And it is still accidental, because Tails is basically allowed to win just because he can fly there, but the fact that he did that actually makes it more his, even if it was an accident.
Yep.
And Trog surrenders because he doesn't want Tails to cut the rope he's on and leave him falling to his death. Tails also
Obviously.
says, I can fly really well in this magic armor.
I
What?
guess he just means it isn't too heavy.
It functions like the what is it? A pendant, a feather in Sonic Adventure. You can just fly farther.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, the jet anklet.
Was it an anklet? Gosh darn it, I got it wrong twice.
Because you're thinking of the rhythm badge, which lets him do the breakdance kick.
Oh gosh darn it, I always mix up which upgrades do what. Yeah.
That's fine. Yeah, so an odd excursion. I feel like I'm lacking some context for all this, but I guess it was kind of fun.
Kinda.
That's obviously the point. They're
Yeah.
not gonna reveal
Yeah.
everything right off the bat. You know,
Yeah.
you read this, you're like, wow, there's some weird Tails lore going on. I probably want to pick up the next issue with the Tails comic in it.
Yeah. Also, Tails goes home, and Sonic's like, "Hey, I told you to leave me the fuck alone, and you did. That's weird."
Thank you.
And Tails doesn't tell him about all this because how the hell would you explain that, honestly?
Bro, yeah.
But our final story for tonight is Tails the Land Beyond, Nigel Kitching and David Windett, as usual. Tails is called back to the Nameless Zone on a mission to rescue a missing king trapped somewhere in the Land Beyond. So, we get there, and they're like, "Oh, Tails, we need your help with this." And it's like, what? Again, nobody else to do this? Nobody?
No, well,
Yeah,
they think of Tails as their champion, so...
Well, he is now officially. I mean, he beat the champion
That's true,
of like
yeah.
their enemy, so
That's
like,
true,
yeah,
yeah.
he's the new champion.
Yeah.
Good job, Tails.
Yeah.
You're really getting yourself into such a mess here.
So he gets his armor back, but they're saying you have to journey outside the safe area of the Nameless Zone to find Sharab, the third Enchanter King who went missing when you were very young.
Oh, no.
Apparently Trog was holding him prisoner in the Land Beyond, but we don't know much, and it's like, what exactly happened? Are you holding Trog captive? You know, they show him tied up in the flashback. Can't you just ask him? Did you execute him that fast?
So, I kind of had that same question. The flashback is not from last story. It's from much farther back, I think. Actually,
Oh, you know what? They say
I'm
we
sure
banished
that's
him to the Land Beyond, but they still show him tied up. It's just strange.
They said
Oh,
them
okay.
better.
So they say Trog remains the Land Beyond, plotting their revenge.
So they just
which,
let him go home?
So that implies that he's there now. But yes, why did they just let him do that? You know, it may. If I had to guess, it probably has something to do with magical mumbo jumbo, because later somebody else explains that the whole army is held back by the whole policy of the champions have to fight it out, basically. So I could totally see, like, okay, well, we can't let Trog come in here because then, like, he's been let into our land or something. So they have to send him back.
I guess. Anywho, Tails is going to have to go do it, and he will be accompanied on this quest by Errol Blackthorn, seasoned Fox War. It's Big Tails.
Yeah, it's big. It's big tails with one tail.
Yeah, big tail.
Big tail.
and no hair tuft, yeah.
Yeah.
I-
Oh yeah. That's true.
Something about the foxes here feel more like clones than some of the clones in Archie Sonic somehow.
Well, because
Maybe
at
it's-
least a lot of the echidnas we saw felt they had different personalities.
Maybe it's that I'm so used to seeing clone Knuckles that seeing clone Tails feels too weird.
Sure.
Because Archie doesn't
I
have
am-
Tails clones. Because Amadeus and Rosemary and Merlin don't look like Tails.
No, they don't.
I'm honestly so desensitized to these character variants that I don't really, it doesn't bother me. I don't really notice it.
Yeah, fair enough. But yes, we're going to the land beyond, and it's mostly kind of crappy looking. We get beset upon by fantasy monsters real quick.
Yeah, I guess this is a D&D campaign.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
it definitely
Yeah.
seems that way.
they're more. There's another dude who really has the same face as Trog, but none of the hair.
Yeah.
But there's also flying ones, so they're kind of gargoyles, I guess.
Gargoyle's probably the best way to put it.
So we're fighting some monsters, and Tails has to kind of awkwardly explain around him being someone who's just talking
Lying.
himself up in his letters home.
Doesn't last long, though.
He's not the hero everyone thinks he is, but
Right.
Errol's like, well, I should probably tell the kings about that, but we have to finish our journey first.
For a second, I really thought, oh, okay, they're not going to draw this whole thing out. But then as soon as he's like, well, anyway, we have to get moving along, like, okay, they're going to find some stupid reason to cover it up, aren't they?
Of course. So we go through some tunnels, get chased by another monster. Tails saves them from falling to their deaths by flying and carrying Errol.
Yeah,
I
this
would
time
like
he
to-
actually remembered it.
Well, yeah, I mean, of course. He little by little is slightly living up in different ways.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
we're doing a Puss
You
in
know how
Boots
this
thing.
is going. I would like to mention, though, that it's funny when they're falling down and Errol thinks they're going to die. He's like, well, at least your secret's safe and you'll die a hero.
I like that the monster appears as a beast, and then the second they fall off, he says, boy, this is the best job I ever had.
Easy.
He likes his work. But, yes, so he saves them, and at the bottom of this pit, hey, look, it's Sharab. He's chained up here.
Hmm.
And has a really big forehead in this first drawing.
Oh, yeah, God. The cranium on this man.
But hey, luckily we found him safe with no hazards about. Oh,
What the fuck is this thing?
it's a head with arms and legs.
Sure looks like it.
Yeah.
He doesn't have much of
Yeah.
a torso. He kind
No.
of. I'm not sure if this is like a
Sort of.
4-pack that he has, or it's just a weird butt chin.
It's a double butt chin.
Yeah.
So- When I first saw this, I was like, this doesn't make any sense. Why the heck has he been in prison for a long time? And then right now, as they're about to rescue him, he's about to get eaten. But it turns out the story was smarter than I took it for.
Yes, indeed. They break his chains, and okay, the monster's weird because he's like, "Don't you know I'm supposed to eat him? What are you doing?" And it's like,
A little bit of a goof.
what? It's just strange. It's just like, what did this guy think was going to happen? I don't understand this monster.
I don't think you're supposed to.
But he gets
Yeah.
confused long enough that they have time to escape. And Tails he decides to man up. He's like, you guys go, I'll handle this guy. Which is basically, I'm going to get eaten while you guys escape. But it's okay.
Yeah, Sharob is like, yeah, no time to argue. Let's just go. And Errol is like, okay, well, you've been very brave, Tails. Bye. Like, he's just gonna let him die.
It's okay, though, because he jumps at Tails and smashes his head on the ceiling by accident. So, another W for Tails the heroic fraudster.
That's what we're doing.
It's okay, though, because Sharab leads the way directly into a trap. He
Oh,
was never
no.
trying to be rescued, because in fact,
Nope.
Sharab and Trog are one and the same.
Yeah. So, like,
Uh,
what? Huh?
What? Yeah, that.
This is ridiculous. This comes completely out of nowhere. Like, it
And
was
then-
obvious that something weird is going on.
Oh yeah,
but
something weird's going on is going to we're going to see something weird happen.
So
I didn't expect this at all.
he explains that he used to be Sharab, but in his pursuit of magical knowledge, he made contact with some sort of demon that drove him mad.
Yeah, they call it the evil one, which I will hold on to that and see if that will come up later.
Yeah, but it's
Mhm.
like, how did the Enchanter Kings not know that they were the same guy?
I don't know. It very
Hmm.
convenient.
I guess he transformed into this thing while they weren't seeing him, And then I guess he started calling himself by a different name and saying he was a different person immediately, and just didn't get around to mentioning it. And then they did say that they assumed that Sharab had been murdered, but there wouldn't have been a body. I don't know. Yeah,
It
but
would be nice if they had somehow hinted at this, because there's no way you could see this coming. It would have been nice if one of the enchanters had been like, the circumstances around their death, or not, or around their assumed death was, well, I guess they did say that they were actually found alive. Well, so that's maybe that's why they didn't say anything, because it turns out they actually were alive. So the fact that there was no body was kind of explained.
it's a bit messy. And indeed, so is the ending of this, because we're trying and not really succeeding at fighting Trog, which I guess makes sense since in a physical matchup he had to win by accident.
Yeah, true.
He punches Tails across the room, and it looks like, they're ready to kill him, basically. But conveniently, a portal shows up that leads back to the castle,
How nice.
and also is so bright that
Yeah.
it blinds Trog, which, okay.
For some reason.
But not Tails, because he's just that cool.
It's weird, because the Flash seems to get Errol, too, but then he screws up his eyes, and Tails he escapes with Tails.
Yep.
And so they show up back at the castle, and the kings are like, oh, the portal has brought their back. Our magic can only keep Tails in this zone for a limited period. What does that mean? Tails is from here.
Yeah.
It's just magical weirdness. Like I said, this place has a fair share of that. My real question is, they have this whole conversation here. The portal's still open. Why doesn't Trog follow them through?
Good question.
That's a good point. But, yeah, Errol says the Sharab mission is a bust, but he also lies to preserve Tails' status because he did his best.
Of course.
Is that good? I feel like the only thing at stake here is Tails' feelings.
Yeah, this does not feel like a good idea.
Yeah, that doesn't help anything at all.
So, yeah. That's the end of Tails, and that's the end of our comics for tonight. It took us quite a bit longer. There was a lot more pages and a lot more content.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But, slowly but surely, Sonic the Comic is forming an identity for itself, and that's really what I feel here more than the previous 2 days.
Yeah.
We've got fantasy worlds, we've got our own versions of game adaptations, we've got pirates and original villains, I'm getting on board with it.
Oh yeah, no,
Yeah.
I'm ready for this.
Now, the execution of any of these things individually is a bit questionable, but,
Sure.
it's been a nice smattering. I haven't been bored. We haven't been watching badly drawn characters waffle on about nothing for pages on end.
That
True.
is very nice. Yeah,
That
I
is
am.
appreciated. Yeah.
There are actual details that I'm interested to see followed up on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, good shit, I'm having fun, And that's ultimately what I want, With Archie Sonic, a lot of it
Right.
is having fun with the audacity of why it was like that. Most of this I get why it was like that, although it is strange. But with all that said, that is where we are going to cut it off for tonight. Bit of a longer one this week, but no problems there. If you like this episode, please feel free to share, like, comment, and subscribe. And if you have any questions, comments, criticisms, suggestions, or feedback, you can reach us at any of the links in the link tree in the description. I hope you have a great rest of your night. I hope you have a great rest of your week. We'll see you next week for another episode.
No, you won't. Bruce is going to be gone at a convention next week.
Have a great night, and take care.